So the City of Baseball Museum actually got its start about the time the conversation started about potentially relocating the Saints home from Midway Stadium to Lower Town. What started to happen was, I think because the team was more in the news, people kind of just came out of the woodwork, fans and whatnot, were just bringing in old newspaper clippings, trophies, mementos, game programs and things, the scorecards, things like that. So we started to gather this small collection of Saints memorabilia. And interesting stories came along with that as well. So it really became a passion of one of our owners, Marv Goldklang, to dig a little deeper into the story of the Saints going back into the 1880s. And when we started to do that, some really incredible connections, both with the city of St. Paul and the Saints baseball team to just baseball all over the world, but especially Major League Baseball. There were some really fun ties. So that's where the idea basically got its start. We don't have a lot of space. That was one thing that drove it. And so a lot of what we do here, the artifacts, the physical artifacts, are a lot of fun, and people do like to see those. So that's great, but we have a limited amount of space, and digitizing things allowed us first to save space, but also it was important. Kids relate more to the digital stuff than they do the hard objects. So we just felt it was important to have the flexibility that digitization brought, but then also it's what keeps kids interested in technology. And so if it's just that alone and they learn a little something about baseball and maybe get hooked on it, that was a plus. Interactive table has been received really, really well. It's a lot of fun. There aren't a lot of them out in the marketplace. It's super responsive and immediate, which I think feeds into kids' desire, particularly younger visitors to the museum. They relate to it. Plus, we're able to get a lot of stories on there, that otherwise might not be told, but for the fact that we can, everything's digital and we get the stories in a compact place. Plus, it allows us to update them and change them out, real frequently, so that we're always keeping the content fresh. Tierney was great. We, laid out the concept of what we wanted the museum to be, and we've known Tierney by reputation, and they're leaders in the field, and they're actually at our old home over at Midway Stadium, which is kind of fun. So we went over there and got a little tour. But you see some of the technology that's out there, and some of the stuff seems really far out, but you find out it's within reach. And they really listened to us in terms of what we had to work with here in terms of space, what we were working with in terms of the budget, what our objectives were for the museum as a whole, and the technology really was built to suit all that.